Welcome! Since this is the first episode, I think it is wise to explain what I'm doing here. The YouTuber Cold Mirror had a long-running series called 5-Minute Harry Podcast, in which he took 5-minute chunks from the first Harry Potter movie and analyzed the shit out of those, adding interesting information more or less related to what we see on screen. And I'm going to steal that concept now, and doing the same for the show Hazbin Hotel. Although I will divide it into 7-minute parts and a few seconds so that I can neatly wrap every episode up in 3 parts. Which means that at the end we will have 24 parts covering the first season. This will include tidbits about the show's production, the world's lore, but also, and probably mostly, influences relating to the real world we live in. Am I blowing your mind by telling you that today's episode will handle a lot of Christian and Jewish mythology? I hope you have fun. I already had researching this, so let's go! This episode will begin in heaven and end with an excited, let's call it excited, pink fluffy demon. Episode 1 of the show begins with narration. We are told that there once existed a glowing city protected by golden gates, known as heaven, while we see a city in the clouds protected by its golden gates. This is actually an accurate description of what people in the Middle Ages believed heaven to look like. We can see this well in medieval TO maps. They're called TO maps because the water masses depicted on there form the letters T in the middle, showing the Nile and the Mediterranean Sea, and O on the outside, which is said to be a great ocean encircling the world. This was not supposed to be an accurate description of real geography, by the way, but more meant to be an allegorical representation of Christian beliefs. As such, right in the middle of the map, we find the town of Jerusalem, which was believed to be an exact parallel to the town residing in heaven, and it was commonly described and depicted as having golden town walls. To the east of the TO map, we then have the Garden of Eden, which we'll shortly come to in the show. Foreshadowing. We see heaven having its own little Kingdom Hearts-like planet, seemingly made out of light and with its own rings. We're told it's inhabited by angels who value good and protect the universe from evil. But I suggest getting into discussing angels when they themselves appear in the story in episode 6. Without direct introduction, 2 individuals pop into the frame, one with flowy white hair and one with spiky hair, and who looks like they really need to go to sleep. Right now, we have no context for these creatures as far as I'm aware of. The narration goes on telling us about Lucifer, an angel who was a dreamer and so far ahead of his time he invents fireworks before the Chinese do and sports the top hat thousands of years before it is in fashion. But his forward thinking isn't appreciated by the boss angels, and so he wasn't allowed to play along while they created Earth. Yeah, God is seemingly not present in this universe. Rather, the Earth and everything on it is created by angels. We get a really nice transition from a black background with white silhouettes to a bright background contrasted with dark figures. This kind of art style, where you work with silhouettes, became popular in the 18th century in Europe, where it was created by drawing out shadow on a canvas, although in the form of paper cutting, or if you want to sound extra fancy, calligraphy. It existed in China since at least the 4th century. We see Adam and Lilith, the first humans on Earth, who we are told are created as equals. Lilith's story in our world begins way before she becomes Adam's first wife. In fact, it reaches back to the first literal source we ever found, the Gilgamesh epic. Her name comes from the Sumerian Lil, meaning wind, and in the beginning Lilith, or rather the species of Lilith, were demons not unlike the European succubi, who come to men at night to drain their life force. Wink wink nudge nudge. Only in Ben Sira's alphabet, which was written in the early Middle Ages, did she finally become Adam's wife. The show tells us Adam demanded control and Lilith refused. Talk to the hand. Okay, but that can mean anything. What does it mean? I need details. Well, in Ben Sira's alphabet, their falling out goes a little like this. You know, I'm gonna top, right? Ha! No. Oh, yes, I will. No. Yes. Nuh-uh, bitch. Okay, fuck you, I'm out of here. Fine. Hey, I need another one. In the Kabbalah Zohar, Lilith is even an angel herself, who was sent out by heaven to be Adam's wife. She left him, though, after Eve was created, and Lilith felt like the third wheel in this constellation. After Lilith left in the show, she meets Lucifer, and we are told that the two dreamers fell deeply in love. For this development to occur in our world, at least in literature, we have to move ahead a few hundred years to the 13th century, when Jewish mysticism paired Lilith up with the leader of the angels, who rebelled against God, whose name then wasn't Lucifer but Samael. They were made to be the bad counterpart to the good pair, Adam and Eve, and while those ruled the harmonious part of creation, Samael and Lilith were rulers over a world of disharmony and chaos. Lilith doesn't appear in the Bible, although a confusion about the two different versions of Genesis could lead one to believe that she might do. In Genesis 1, Adam and his wife were created simultaneously, just like it's said to have happened with Lilith. In Genesis 2, meanwhile, Adam is created first, then he spends his next days giving all the animals on earth their names before he asks God to give him a companion, whereafter Eve was created from his body. Good God, can you imagine the show's version of Adam naming animals? I hereby call you Danger Tits, and you Vagina, and you I like the most, I call you Dick Master. Can I just be called Lion again? No. Okay. Here we have a majestic Dick Master carefully pursuing a free-roaming vagina. Beautiful. We now come to the fall of men, and we are told that Lilith and Lucifer wanted to give mankind free will, which is why they present Eve with the fruit of knowledge. The tree of knowledge introduces the color red into this black and white and shades of grey, and we can see the color seeping into the earth through the tree roots. We are now only 1 minute into the show, by the way. We have a second cool color transition when we zoom into the fruit and now have an entirely red background. We are told that this act causes evil to find its way into Earth. As punishment, Lilith and Lucy are banished into the dark pit they created, which apparently involves a lot of ice. A lot of ice. So I guess hell was created that day, but it's very vague how. After that, Lucifer loses his ability to dream because he's so ashamed about what his actions have created, while Lilith thrives as the queen of hell, and due to her magical singing, hell and its inhabitants thrive too and grow in numbers. Threatened by this, though, heaven made the decision to send an army once a year in order to weaken them. Notice that never once is it mentioned that there was even the will to do anything harmful to heaven. Like just the possibility that they theoretically could was enough to do a genocide. But despite that, we are told that Lilith dreams lives on in her precious daughter, and as the story of hell closes, we see that it is said precious daughter who has narrated the story to us. Which makes it a bit weird that she referred to herself as precious. But if that's how it's written, then that's what you got to read. Wait, who wrote the book anyway? Because the last part indicates it has to be someone who is close enough to the princess that they know she wants to make hell thrive again. And during the show, whenever she brings up she wants to help sinners, everyone is always super surprised she's even trying that. Anyway, we are finally out of the narration and can all take a break from Bible history. And with all, I mean me. Next, she looks at a flowing, glowing key with wings and a heart while saying, "Don't worry, Mom, I make you proud," before she is startled by a voice calling Charlie. Likewise, the key is so startled that it transforms into a black Cyclops cat. It isn't clear why she needed the cat key in the first place, probably to open the book, although we don't see a lock. Wait, did you write this book, Kitty?
According to Vivsy, the cat, her name is Kiki, is supposed to be the living embodiment of the hotel itself. Its soul, if you will.
In the skyline of hell, we see a prevalent sign which welcomes us to hell, indicating that this is where hell's entrance is. In a lot of cultures' mythology, the underworld's entrance was thought to be a cave system or a hole in the ground. In Greek epics, the entrance is located somewhere on the great ocean encircling the world, which we have already talked about today. The Pluton temple in Turkey's ancient town Hierapolis was built over an earth crack, which was told to lead to the underworld, but only leads to a high concentration of CO2, which in ancient times made sacrificial animals suddenly drop dead. The Romans believed hell lies beneath the Lago d'Averno, a volcanic lake in Italy not far from Mount Vesuvio, and the Mayans believed the entrance to their underworld, Xibalba, to be somewhere in a cave in Yucatan. Either that or in the Milky Way. In Nordic folklore, the gate to the beyond was believed to be an ordinary well. That's why in the fairy tale Frau Holle you have to jump into a well to reach her realm. Charlie talks in embarrassment to the new person. "Did you hear all that?" We cut to the intruder, which isn't really an intruder because it's Charlie's girlfriend Vaggie, which means that we are now staying in what is likely their shared bedroom. She admits, "Yeah, I was right over there." Which is totally not creepy, just standing in the corner for 2 minutes and listen to your partner talking to herself. We also see in the credits the name of the show's creator, Vivian Medrano, who goes by the name Vivsy online. Charlie just wanted to calm herself down because the recent extermination we learned about through the storybook just happened, which explains the smoke emergent from the city's skyline. Because the story helps, she says. So the story about how the yearly genocide came to be is helping you to calm down? I mean, okay then. Of course, the part that's helping her is the one where her mother makes hell a thriving place, because Charlie has the same dream and clings to the belief that she could maybe accomplish the same. That's why she really wishes her mom would be there right now to guide her in her quest. But Lilith has been gone somewhere for 7 years now. That's a long time not hearing from your mother, not knowing where she's gone to. Probably. I guess that depends how your perception of time is. And while we know that Lucy and Lily are as old as the world's creation, we never learn how old Charlie is. In an old promo clip, a picture can be seen indicating that she has to be at least 200 years old, and Vivsy has stated that Charlie ages in hell years, whatever that means. The only definitive is that she's biologically in her 20s. While our princess convinces herself that her mother is doing something so super important that she cannot contact her, she looks out the panorama window front, decorated with a gigantic eye. Nice! So she has assigned to them the fancy presidential suite, huh? I mean, I would have done the same if I were her. Charlie still hopes that what she's trying to do here works, and Vaggie assures her she's at least not alone in this, which is the first hint we get about the show's thesis. They leave their shared bedroom, but not before Charlie throws a worrying look outside to the striking bell tower, and we have a first good look of the city. It looks like a modern big city, except that some of the buildings have horns and teeth. There are remains of destruction still present, and we can see a part of a symbol hovering over a very red sky, which Vivsy stated was inspired by the animated Batman series. Over everything towers the bell tower. Towers the bell tower, anyway. Counting down the days to the next extermination like a looming version of Elizabeth Tower. With its bright yellow and white, it's distinct from the red and violet and pink the rest of the city is colored in. This color pattern is also combined in Charlie's design, who is both white and yellow, signifying her half-angel status, and red, signifying her status as Princess of Hell. When Charlie turns around to leave, we can have a clear look of their bedroom. To the left, we have their bed, very romantic, with a canopy and decorated with fairy lights. To the foot, there's a chest, which is super inefficient, not just because there are teeth on the edge where you have to open it, but also because you can't fit any substantial amount of stuff in there because of the way it is built. Next to the bed, we have a surface which looks like a desk, but without a chair and with curtains. Both this area and the bed are decorated with pictures of a halved apple. Apples as decoration are also on the door as well as eyes again. When it comes to decoration, there are almost always just 3 choices: eyes, apples and hearts. Choose your symbol and take a drink every time I mention yours. Also, next to the 1,000 fairy lights over the bed area, there are 2 ginormous fluorescent tubes, which are directly next to a wall lamp, which is directly next to a chandelier. Holy moly, how high are Charlie's electrical bills? I take it back, I choose another room than the presidential suite. Scene change! We now witness the scene through a camera lens. For a moment, a glitchy arm waves in front of the picture where one demon stabs another demon with a dagger. We zoom out, and while we hear a voice from behind the camera, other creatures pop into the frame. From left to right, we have a blue fella who looks like he just woken up and is in need of a coffee. A horned cat, who is not amused that he is filmed without his consent. Then the 2 demons, looking very shocked indeed. Can't you simply kill one another in peace? I don't even know. Eye pedal person whose face says ugh. And another horned creature with a spiked goth choker. To the left, there's a sign saying no turning back while showing a turning arrow. This sign gives me mixed messages. Also, an anthropomorphic grenade, who alarmingly has a grip on his safety. That could end quickly. Luckily, we cut away to the front of the hotel. At the top is a sign announcing the show you're watching. The top floor we recognize as the living quarters of our girls, which consists of just the whole floor. The floor beneath also looks like an establishment within the hotel, like a ballroom or a lounge or something, judging from the balcony, which is again decorated with pictures of apples and eyes. To the right side hangs a very unstable looking tower, declaring it's on air, which is advertised by more red arrows than you can find on an obnoxious YouTube thumbnail. Beneath that is the mast of a sailing boat. We pan down to the base of the hotel. The front looks more like a cinema or a theater, announcing that Hazbin Hotel is now playing, in case you have already forgotten which show you are watching. To the left, it looks like there's a merry-go-round glued to the side of the hotel, tilted for the maximum nausea effect while riding. To the right, there's a U-boat? Did you draw a U-boat from the depth of the ocean? Does hell have an ocean? Or can you summon things from Earth? Anyway, here too we have a load of apples and eyes. Okay, stop drinking, you will die. The voice fills us in with the premise of the show. 5 days ago, Charlie Morningstar founded a hotel to redeem sinners. We see her briefly showing a drawing to an unimpressed news anchor called Katie Killjoy. This is a reference to the Hazbin Hotel pilot, which preceded the show and was released to Vivsy's YouTube channel. A good chunk of that is dedicated to Charlie pitching her idea on the news, although when that happened, it wasn't yet called Hazbin Hotel but Happy Hotel. The voice resumes that Charlie looks to overcome her daddy issues by fixing you. And she's very dedicated, evidenced by her mood board, showing concrete arguments like cute puppies. The next picture has her presenting a solid plan for fixing you. The first step is sorry, which is slightly foreshadowing the second episode where she sings the song It Starts With Sorry. So the first step is saying sorry, the second is falling in love, in gay love. Third step, saying please. Fourth step, thank you. Fifth step, success. So you say sorry to someone you fall in love with that someone. Then you ask, please can I have your love? And after you received it, you say thanks. And just as easily, you're redeemed. Solid plan. We enter the inside of the hotel, where our lovely host tells us about all the fun things awaiting, like a part of a bar that looks completely out of place, because it is. During the pilot, it was teleported here from a different place in town, which now misses half its building, and still miraculously fits exactly into this corner of the lobby. A neon sign advertises Beelzebub, which I would never have guessed myself. It looks like Beetlejuice to me. What is Beelzebub? Has someone already created a Beelzebub cocktail? If so, please tell me. For science. Otherwise, everything in this bar screams you can gamble here. The small tables made for card games, the windows decorated with cards, and the bar counter itself looking like a slot machine. A sign over the bar and under huge ass skulls tells us this is where the concierge is seated. Depending on the time and place you're asking for, a concierge could be a receptionist, a gatekeeper, a janitor, or a prison guard, but never has it been a term for a bartender. The fun things we are told are somewhat functional staff and 24-hour pest control, as a tiny maid with a huge sewing needle jumps onto the counter and tries to stab a bug, hopping over the not so functional anymore staff. Cut to what we are told are custom rooms, but really is a restroom. I mean, it's good to know that they have toilets. I would be slightly unsettled by the eyes looking at me from the walls and the floor, though. If they looked away while I'm having a sitting, that would be fine, but they are intently staring at the toilet as if it was the most interesting thing. Which, to be fair, it probably is in a restroom stable. The reason we see such an amount of real eyes and teeth around the furniture and the buildings is, according to Vivsi, due to the fact that when sinners double die in hell, their life force seeps into the world and forms those eyes and mouth. Wait, life force seeping into the world? Aha! I don't know if that really means something. But the thing that really preoccupies me is, imagine you could be an eye anywhere in the city and you end up in a public restroom. We leave the custom rooms to look at that tacky parlor. That tacky parlor, as well as the whole hotel's interior design, is very reminiscent of Art Deco, a style direction which peaked in the 1920s, featuring sharp lines, eclectic shapes and bold colors. We've seen typical furniture of that style with this wall lamp, this chandelier, and the fireplace we are looking at right now, where a beam just falls out of nowhere to startle poor cat Kiki again. Aw, she can't catch a break. She's like our daughter, she also gets frightened by everything. Although probably everyone would be frightened by a beam suddenly falling on your head. Except the hotel's singular guest, who's completely unfazed by the faulty construction. We cut away to a drawing of the hotel, in case we have already forgotten how it looks like. But now there are some neat slogans surrounding it, like, neat! No tacky circus decor, I promise. Haha, I named it. Danger Hotel. Ship, I guess. So what I identified as a U-boat is part of the ship. Okay, got it. I still have questions though. Also, it advertises 50% off. $1. Is it $1 after the reduction, or is it the original price? Not that it matters, because as we already could figure out, This project is really important to Charlie and she wouldn't charge anyone for coming to her. But does that mean hell's currency is the dollar? America really colonizes everything it can get its hands on and drowns it in capitalism, doesn't it? Not even hell is safe. Cut from the drawing of the hotel to a panning shot of the hotel. Again, make them really remember how this building looks like to make sure they can find it. Good idea. They can't call though. As the writing tells us, call now. Or don't. I don't care. We still don't have a working phone. In the next shot, the video we've witnessed up until this point is turned off and instead the reflection of a TV screen show us our two main girls, Charlie and Veggie, who look very shocked indeed. We pan up and for the first time we take a look at the TV's ads presenter, who still has a distorted voice when he asks, "So, what do you think?" Veggie is visibly not amused while Charlie tries to form her thoughts as politely as humanly possible with, "Yeah, one note, Alistair. First of all, thank you so much for doing this. Seriously amazing." We can see how Alistair reacts, and before Charlie even begins lightly saying anything against his product, he is already so uppity that he has clawed into the table a bit. Alistair is probably the most on-edge character in the show, even though it's not directly apparent because he always has a big smile on his face to conceal his real emotions from everyone. But as a viewer, you're almost always sure to gather what he feels by seeing Alistair's other facial features. And right now, he's pissed. Because as he explains in an exposition, he has been absent for some time and everyone remembers him from his radio show, the proper medium to express oneself. But they insisted on this noisy picture box advertisement. Okay, you're a radio guy, you don't like TVs. That's reasonable. But why do you have a gripe against telephones? You can't summon a part of a bar, you can do a telephone. A telephone does not take your audience away. Alistair doesn't like technology that originated after his lifetime, which ended in 1933. But during the 20s, you could already make phone calls. You reached a receptionist, who you would tell the number you wanted to call, and then she, because they were usually women, would connect you to the appropriate channel. Not many people had it because it was expensive to get wired up, but telephones existed. Veggie is a bit more forceful with her rage, climbing on the sofa saying, "When you showed up here a week ago, you said you were going to help us." Spouting a bit more exposition that the premise of the show is that they want to save sinners from extermination by redeeming them into heaven. Exposition has a negative connotation nowadays, mostly because if you notice it, that's usually an indicator it's overbearing or clunky, but exposition in itself is necessary to just know what's going on. We cut away and let's use this opportunity to look at this parlor's definitely not tacky circus decor. To have circus decor mixed into 20s Art Deco is pretty fitting actually, because the 1920s were a bit of a golden age for circuses. Never before and never since had there been more circuses than in the 1920s, at least in Europe. In the hallway we have wall decor of golden horses mid-jump. For a long time horses were the main event of the circus. Other more exotic animals were instead a staple of the menagerie. But at some point those two bled into each other and animals like elephants and wild cats, as we can see as decor in the parlor, became common sights in circuses. Circusi, circusa, circusorum. We also have a clear indication that this place was built by Lucifer, other than the millions of apple decoration all over. When we, as a fireplace decor, see his ginormous top hat having two snakes crawl out of. A pink hand is suddenly raised, accompanied by this kind of score where, upon hearing it, you immediately want to initiate striptease. And it tells you, now it's going to be sexy. Veggie is still on edge when she yells, "What?" And a new character enters the discussion. making the argument that they should take advantage of the celebrity they have right here. To which Veggie replies, Angel, you're a porn star. But he's a famous porn star, Angel replies, a bottle of presumably beer in one of his forearms. And if you film a commercial where he's going at it with Mr. Fancy Talk Creepy Voice, all the horny sinners will want to stay in this hotel. To which Mr. Fancy Talk Creepy Voice mouth says, never going to happen. But his eyes say, no. Oh God, no. 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 Between them we again see the horse decor, and there is an interesting dream Angel's VA Blake Roman had once, including him and the character he voices.
This is so stupid. We were literally riding a horse together.
Anyway, a pornist commercial is off the table, and Charlie again has problems forming clear words while constantly fidgeting around. Charlie's VA, Erica Henningsen, said she recognizes a lot of her own mannerisms in Charlie, which is due to the fact that the voice actors were filmed while they recorded their lines in the booth, so that the animators could then use those as a template for the characters' gestures. Veggie looks at her girlfriend like, babe, what the heck are you trying to say? And what her girlfriend says is, I really don't want to exploit you. Angel doesn't mind though, counting down all the reasons why his sexy body was made to be exploited. Incidentally, also answering the first question YouTuber Danny Motta had when he first saw Angel.
Like, what am I even looking at right now? Like, what part of this thing am I supposed to find attractive?
Well, he answers the second part. But don't fret, I'll answer the first. Angel is supposed to be a spider, which I have to admit you wouldn't know by just looking at him, especially since he almost always displays 6 limbs, and the additional 2 limbs is what signifies spiders as a different family of animals than bugs. Angel has another pair of arms, it's just that most of the time he has them retracted, however they fit into this tiny body. But you know how it is, some people can just pack away things like chocolate cake and arms like it's nothing. Though the description spider is not good enough for me. I wanted to know what kind of spider he is. I mean, in reality he is an anthropomorphic cartoon spider, but I don't care about reality. The main method how experts determine a type of spider is by looking at their eyes. So, show me your eyes, baby. Angel has 2 large main eyes and 6 smaller eyes beneath them, making 8 eyes in total, which 90% of spiders have. On Angel, they look like freckles because he keeps them shut most of the time. The main eyes are for forming pictures, while the function of the side eyes vary depending on the species, but their main function usually is to help the spider recognize movement, since spiders have rigid eyes and rigid heads. Angel is perfectly capable of moving his eyes as well as his head, so it shouldn't be a problem to keep his small eyes shut. The only spider family who has this great amount of size difference between main and side eyes are wolf spiders. Taking into account how tall Angel is and his fluffiness, he is indeed a prime candidate for a tarantula. And among the different types of tarantulas, there are actually quite a few that are pink. Unfortunately, it's only highlights of pinks, while the dominant color is black or brown. Additionally, wolf spiders don't have all their side eyes beneath their main eyes. 2 of them are on either side of the head, so that doesn't track as well. The spider to give me the most Angel vibes is this guy. It's a dimorphic jumping spider, and look how cute he is! He looks so surprised by the fact that he's being pepped. But I couldn't really find a spider that accurately fits Angel. He just has to be a new species of spider. Arachnida angelus homoeroticus. The reason he is a spider, according to Vivsi, is because in his life he was part of a mob family. So all of them are spiders because they were entangled in a web of crime. This is obviously a meta reason for making Angel into a spider. Diegetically, I doubt there's an entity being all like, wait, before I assign a new health form to you, I first have to think of a poetic wordplay. While Angel keeps going on why he is body goals, Charlie is interrupted by her phone. Cut to her phone and we see Dad is calling. His picture is a duck dressed in a mini version of Lucy's signature top hat. I tried to find out what song the ringtone is, but I couldn't. Moving on, Charlie excuses herself to take the call, but she has to take a deep breath before she does, which indicates she has a rather strained relationship with her father, even though her phone case shows a nice collection of golden apples. Meanwhile, back in the parlor, Angel has a question. If Freaky Face here is so powerful, why can't he just make people stay here? To which Mr. Freaky Face ensures him, trust me, I can. While doing that, his face suddenly turns dark and torn by shadows, while his eyes glow evilly, indicating visually that Alistair is indeed as powerful as he claims. I mean, he summoned a ship from the bottom of the sea. No, I won't get over that. Additionally, his little horns, which until now looked like crescent moons on toothpicks, grow into a set of antlers. Although to me they look a little like TV antennas. Do you think he regularly has to shoo away pigeons? A rough voice interrupts them by saying, "Why do you think I'm here?" Alistair takes a peek into the direction the new voice comes from, as well as Angel, who is shooting up one eyebrow, which is very much his signature look. The Angel look trademark. A rapid pan to the bar, where suddenly a random bar cat appears. He elaborates, "Do you think I would be cleaning bottles if he wasn't forcing me?" Why are you cleaning bottles though? Everyone knows as a bartender you are supposed to clean mugs. You clean mugs until someone comes up to you saying, "My dear man, have you any news from around here?" And then you say, "As luck will have it, in the corner, there's a fellow who's searching for a few capable people to help him find a magical artifact." Instead of that, a cute little cyclops pops up from behind the bar saying, "I like being forced." Now, you don't necessarily need to watch the pilot to understand the show. My partner didn't before we watched it the first time, and he said he was perfectly capable of understanding everything. But in the show, you never are told why Nifty, the little Cyclops maid, is there or where she came from. Only when seeing the pilot do you know that Alistair summons her from the fireplace. In a similar manner, he summons Husk, the bartender cat, including the bar he played poker in. Without this, you're missing the context that Nifty is in the same arrangement of quote-unquote service to Alistair that Husk is in. Now, up close we can appreciate the skeletorial decor around the bar, which look like snakes? Do snakes have ribs? To the internet! Yes, they have. Also, I now know that these are solenoglyphous snakes, describing the form of dental system they have. In this case, it means that they have long, inwardly bent fangs and minimal other teeth, and this dentition is unique to vipers. I do have to give credit to the interior designer of that bar for artfully wrapping viper skeletons around the furniture. That's a sick move. Angel is immediately in flirt mode, purring, "You don't love being here with me, Whiskers." Angel, as far as I can see, he has no whiskers. Also, Husk doesn't like the nickname, going by his warning, "Call me Whiskers again and I'll jam that bottle down your throat." It doesn't land the way he wants though, since Angel answers with an excited smile and a "Kinky, come on, keep talking dirty." Will Husk unwillingly keep on talking dirty? Well, at least I can assure you that next episode is going to be horny. I am very much looking forward to it. Question of the day. What would your hell form look like? Would you be Grenade Man? I would like to think I'd be a fluffy cat or a cute little cyclops, but in reality I'd probably be something horrifying like Anglerfish Girl.
And with that, it has been 7 minutes. Until next time, bye.
Rather, the earth and earth. When Jewish mysticism paired Lilith. Oh, Lilith is not easy to say. While Lilith thrives as... oh my god, this sentence. Lilith thrives. The Pluton temple in Turkey's ancient town Hierapolis was built over an earthquake. Why is it so funny? Quack. Which means that we are now staying in what is likely their shared bathroom. Bathroom? What? That's not even written there. We also see in the credits the name of the show's creator, Vivian Medrano. With its bright yellow and white, it's distinct from the red. Why can't I say red? That is really not good discussing this show that I can't pronounce the word red. But as a viewer, you're almost always... oh, do I have coffee again? No, great. Then I have to drink tea. Spill the tea, not onto me, into my mouth. But as a viewer, you're almost... Why is almost so hard? To have Circus. Especially since why do I write almost always when I can't pronounce it? Additionally, tea. Oh yeah.